time now. So let's play hockey.
Welcome to the Let's Play Hockey podcast. We are at the Gateway Games here in Blaine, Minnesota at the Four Seasons Curling Club. If you've been watching the Olympics, you probably caught a little bit of curling. I don't know a lot about it, but it's on ice. Maybe is it the second best sport on ice?
Harder than you think. Bonin did it today. What's your review on how dangerous curling is?
Yeah, bocce ball, but you could really get hurt. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I know, get on ice and heads up.
At one point, his son was like, maybe helmets.
Yeah, especially when there's beer involved, right?
Yeah. So Gateway Fiber, the new internet sheriff in town in Minnesota. We'll have David Workman come on and talk about them in a little bit, but we have so much to talk about, gentlemen, from the hockey standpoint. February 22nd is a pretty good day in United States hockey history between beating the Russians and now beating the new Red Army, the Canadians, today. It's been quite a treat. Do you want to start with Olympics, or should we start with the women's tournament? What do you think?
Well, the girls' tournament wrapped up last night. Hill Murray repeat in Class AA. They're just loaded, and I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch, but the skill level and the speed of that game, it just keeps getting better every year. Johnny Pohl, who played professionally, was a Mr. Hockey. He's got 3 daughters on the team. Him and Chrissy Wendell are the coaches. So, it's no surprise that they're running a successful program at Hill Murray. But they were up 4-0, and Centennial Spring Lake Park came back and scored 3 goals in like the last 2.5 minutes. And even Johnny said today at the Miss Hockey Banquet, he said we were about 30 seconds away from them tying it because they just took over, and that's just crazy how hockey is that game where the tides can turn so quick. The night before, Holy Family played Centennial Spring Lake Park, and a puck went off Kayla Swartout's stick, off the back plexi, came back, hit her in the back, and went in the net. And after that, kind of the floodgates just kind of opened. They lost 8-2. I mean, she's never given up 8 goals probably since she was a mite. She just won our Jory Jones Award for best goalie in the state. So, but I guess about 5,000 people in the stands for the games last night, which is good. I think, it continues to grow. The talent continues to get better, and we see it with the gold medal team, the U.S. team, and what they've done, and our U18 team, what they did. So. And there's just a lot of girls coming up through the pipeline that are just ready to fill those skates.
Let's talk about this Hill Murray situation, okay? So this goalie is a glue stick, 9th grader, can't score on her. There's 3 pole kids, and none of them are seniors. I mean, are we watching Hill Murray? Is this the Green Army? Are they going to win the state championship for like 7 years in a row? Is this like a double Jefferson? I guess Edina was a tough out for them on the way there in the semifinal, but are there other programs to go against them? There's really kind of only one private school dominating in the girls' side, so how many are they going to win in a row?
Well, they only graduate 2.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, so, they'll be back next year. There's about 5 teams. In the last 5 years, there's been about 5 teams that have always made it to that Friday night semi. Holy Family last 2 years. Before that was Minnetonka out of Section 2 AA. Centennial Spring Lake Park program has gotten really good. So,
I thought they were awesome last night.
Yeah, and of course Edina, and then you got Hill Murray, and it's kind of a toss-up. And like I said, you get a bounce here or there. Like last night, Hill Murray dominated, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's 4-3, and if there's another couple minutes, that game's probably tied going into overtime, and then anything can happen. But, yeah, Hill Murray's loaded, absolutely loaded.
And you picked Holy Family. I called you a couple days ago. You said, I think Holy Family. They got tripped up by Centennial? Is that who beat them?
Yeah, that's the one where they just couldn't get a bounce. The one that went off her stick and off the back. And it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys play baseball, but, you get a bad hop.
Yep.
And then after you get that bad hop, you're just kind of like, and I think that's kind of what happened. Then the floodgates just opened, and then whatever they were throwing was kind of going in. And another bounce off a defenseman's glove created a 2-on-1, and that was kind of the backbreaker. I think that made it from 4-1, 5-1, and that makes it pretty tough to come back from. But I mean, they won Ms. Hockey. Maddie Kimbrell won the Ms. Hockey award. She's Holy Family. They had the best goalie, Kayla Swartout, and we had co-defensive players of the year with Katja Sander and Mia Miller from Northfield. But Katja is a defenseman for Holy Family too. So 10 seniors, they were loaded. If someone's going to give Hill Murray a run, I really thought it was Holy Family.
And this girl that won Miss Hockey, she was like a superstar, right?
Yeah, she played on the U18 team. She's tiny, but she's feisty. She's just relentless, and she just goes.
Where's she going to college?
Madison Badgers.
Okay, so she's going to go over to Magic, the Johnson boy, and learn the ways of the Badgers, huh?
Yep. And she'll be fine. She'll be a good college player. Lainey Goodnetz is another player that was up for Ms. Hockey for Centennial. She was in the title game last night. She's going to be a heck of a college player too. Fast and fire. I mean, the way these kids can shoot the puck now, these girls, I mean, it's impressive.
I had a moment, Brian, you'll appreciate this. So I'm sitting in my house last night watching Hill Murray go back-to-back. They were undefeated, correct?
Nope.
Okay.
They actually got knocked out of the top spot. It was kind of a musical chair situation. Holy Family held it for quite a while. Then Centennial beat Holy Family. Hill Murray lost to Breck.
Okay.
And Breck won the Class A tournament, and they're super young too. The thing with girls hockey is you don't have to be senior heavy like you kind of do in boys. You can be young and you can be really good. And with boys that rarely happens. You kind of need to. I mean, they're checking. You need the muscle. You need the maturity. Where girls, it's more of a skill game. You rely on skill a lot. So,
where do you see this going? We got a little bit of this issue with boys hockey too. One, we're losing players out of the state, so it's changing the look of sections, conferences. What do you see in girls hockey? You mentioned a couple names there, like a Holy Family. What's a relatively new program? Private schools. We want more opportunity for kids, but we're also seeing a lot more of these co-ops in girls hockey. So on the east side, Hill Murray, when you're kind of unique and you can pull from all of those programs, it's so much different than when I was a kid. And you're at Hill Murray and we're at White Bear, and I don't know a kid that went to Hill Murray from White Bear. They had a couple kids here, a couple kids there, but everyone else around it was really good. What are you seeing? What do you think's going to happen in girls hockey? Because on that west side, I mean, does Providence then all start to have a good team too? And you mentioned Breck, and you mentioned because you want to spread the wealth a little bit, right? You want some competition,
right?
Are we seeing that? I mean, the Holy Family thing surprised me a little bit too.
Yeah,
on that west side.
Well, you're seeing girls move just as much as the boys move.
Okay.
We had a couple Ms. Hockey candidates transferred schools this year to play at different schools. So you're seeing a lot of movement that way. So you're going to see, I think, kids kind of, getting together in the summer and be like, well, where are we going? Where are we going this year?
A lot of mailbox hockey, right?
Yeah,
I need a mailbox. And I did like the rivalry between Warroad and Dodge County seems spicy.
It is, yeah.
Where I saw the Warroad girl on the mic saying, we want Dodge County. And they got them in overtime this year. I guess they got beat last year, but that just makes girls hockey awesome. It's great. 5,000 people. I mean, I would like to see it be sold out at some point. But to Brian's point, the only way that happens is if there's more programs that believe they can be hockey players. It can't turn into college football, and there's 4 teams, and the rest of them are just, I don't know, breaking a sweat. That doesn't work.
Well, that's the danger in it, right? Because even with boys, I liked that, Providence maybe, or Holy Family, or you forget about the Blakes and Brecks on that west side. There's a lot of kids playing hockey over there. I mean, if you go to Minnetonka, you're not playing varsity hockey. So that's a tough choice, right? So it's nice to have Benilde or a Breck Blake, or there's a lot of hockey players there. So, but you also don't want them all going to Holy Family, because then you don't have any competition. Right. I mean, I remember Eric Rasmussen saying that. He's at St. Louis Park, and he's like, well, I could have left, but we had a pretty good rivalry against Jefferson and Benilde and whatever. It's like, didn't have a reason to leave. Mm-hmm. So I'm worried about it in hockey for the boys' side as much as the girls, to keep those rivalries.
Yeah, and we should give a shout out to Breck. So Tricia Loma coaches that team. She won gold in '98 as a part of that team. And I remember when she took that job over, it was really in disarray. I think a bunch of players had left. I think she loaded up with like 7th graders. I don't even know what the program was, but for her to come out of that on the other side has been amazing.
They had 3 wins, I think, her first year when she got back, when she took the job. I think they won 3 games in her first year, and I think that was only 2-3 years ago. So, I mean, pretty unbelievable turnaround for her and for that program. And Breck, and it just goes to show you, I mean, they had one back in 2018. I think they had 3 in a row, and then they just kind of disappeared, but now they're back.
And she's a hard charger, that Tricia.
Yeah.
I mean, great coach. Part of that group, kind of that Angela Ruggiero, that like the old school, the pioneers of women's hockey.
And that's what I think programs need, is they need a coach that's really going to make things happen, and not just coach, but be a driver of the program and say, hey, we're trying to do something here. And, we're only going to go with the kids that want to get on the same page.
And make you believe. Hey, we got a special guest here. So for the listeners at home, we are at the Gateway game. So Gateway Fiber is the new internet sheriff in town. They come from St. Louis, but they're here in Minnesota. Not in every market, but in the fiber hoods where they're available. And they're just a community. They're the opposite of the 800-pound gorilla. And so they do events like this. This was essentially a closing ceremony for a bunch of their customers. They rented out the curling club here at Fogarty Arena. We had the anthem singer from the Wild. We had a band, Bon and Sons band. It was awesome. So David Workman is here. Tell us, just for starters, if somebody's frustrated with the 800-pound gorilla, what is Gateway Fiber and how do you get it?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. The big elephant in the room is what is Gateway and how is it different from any of the other providers out there? And you hit on a lot of it, which is that we're not the big guys. We're not the ones who you call for technical support. You don't know who you're going to get. If you even get a person, you might get a bot or somebody. So not only do we provide a better service because we're 100% fiber, we're not copper in any way. There's no copper plant in our network at all. So it's full speed all the time, symmetrical speeds up and down. So if you're paying for 600 megs, you're getting 600 both ways. Actually, little dirty little secret, you'll probably get more than that because we often over partition and to get some freebies. But if something goes wrong and you have to call us for some reason, you're going to get a person. We are very community focused because we love our customers. To us, you're not just an account number on a screen somewhere that has a faceless name. You are somebody who we took the time to come out there and give you personalized service, and so you're going to get that personalized service from us from beginning to end.
Talk about this event. I mean, it's I've had the pleasure with working with you. An old friend from the agency I worked at called us and said we want to run fiber to a fish house last year. This year I think is even better with the Gateway Games. But how do you come up with this, and why do you do stuff like this in the community?
Well, one reason is we don't want to be the other guys. We want to be remembered as somebody who's different from the rest of we don't do traditional marketing in the truest sense of the word. So yeah, fiber to the fish house last year. Why did we do it? Because we could, and that's exactly the motivating factor behind that. And so for those who weren't familiar with that, we took 2 fish houses, put them out in the middle of Fish Lake in Maple Grove, ran a half-mile fiber cable to the houses, did a Wi-Fi blast, had people out there with bonfires, and we had music, and we had just guests out there and fun. So this time we decided that 7 degrees outside is not as good as 70 degrees inside. So we brought it inside this year, and all the money raised today goes to the Lupus Research Foundation, a locally based organization that looks for a cure for lupus. So Gateway Fiber makes nothing off of this event. It's all donation, all charity, but everything goes to lupus. They are dedicated to finding a cure once and for all for lupus, and that's what we're getting behind. 'Cause to us, that's part of the community. We love Todd and Regan Burr, who are kind of in charge of the Lupus Research Foundation, and we are so excited to partner with a local community group and organization that is doing such great work.
So what is everyone's heard of lupus, but a lot of people don't know what it is. Could you describe, what lupus is and?
So actually, I'd be the wrong person to describe in detail what lupus is. I kind of wish we had Regan sitting here because she has lupus, And so she has lived the life of dealing with this. It's a debilitating disease that is so bad it requires chemotherapy in many cases.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a cancer, but it's not exactly like cancer from a medical perspective. I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to talk too much into the details of that, but it can be debilitating in your joints, your muscles, and so as she's an athlete, she's a curler, and so for that, it makes it difficult for her to do all that if she's fighting pain. I asked her, actually not before I got on the air, not long before I got on the air, is of how are you so bubbly in personality today? Because she's on fire today. She's excited about what's going on. She said, yeah, it's today, but tomorrow I may not leave the house because it can be so draining and so debilitating and hits and misses that she may not leave the house for 24 hours because she has to fully recover from all the energy she has to give out today.
And I would say, so if any of you are sitting at home and you're paying that bill to Xfinity or Cox or Charter, whoever the hell it is, this is a company. I was sitting at the check-in desk today, and there was a guy, he's a customer, and he said, I'm not doing the curling event, but could I get a couple of the gloves for my grandkids? And, you got a Gateway guy going underneath the table into the box to give them a couple pairs of gloves and putting medals on everybody, taking pictures. We had the anthem. This is a grassroots company with sci-fi level tech. So it's human, but it's also the best. So please consider Gateway Fiber. Life is too short for bad internet. Thank you so much, David, for being here, for doing this event, and for being a great partner to Pull Tab Sports.
Well, thank you guys for also helping us organize as our local feet on the ground for this. This has been fantastic. We've been working with Pull Tab for the past couple of years, and it's been tremendous.
We love when you give us an assignment that we don't know how to do.
Makes two of us.
Awesome. Thank you, David Workman from Gateway Fiber. So we're going to go into the Olympics now. I know you didn't get a chance to watch it because you were at the girls' hockey, so Brian and I are going to take you through the gold medal game.
Don't ruin it for me. Did we win?
We did win. No spoilers. So I'll start. Okay, so the entire time I was watching this game, when you cry, and you may have not cried for a while, maybe a funeral or whatever, but the feeling you have after you cry where you've secreted all of the emotions in your body and you're tired, you maybe have a headache. That's how I felt watching this entire game because I was in Vancouver when Crosby scored the golden goal. And the fact that we lost in the Four Nations 2-1, all we did was change the golden goal from Sidney Crosby to Connor McDavid. So are we even making progress? I don't know. Until you can knock on the door as long as you want, but until you break through it, it's not inspiring. You might have 27 million people watch the Vancouver game, but they're not really going to become hockey players because they didn't go all the way. Today we did it. It was a goal by Jack Hughes, who got his front rack knocked out. His teeth got knocked out on a 4-minute penalty. Blood still coming out of his mouth as he's being interviewed post-game, talking about how he's proud to be an American. He scores the winning goal, 3-on-3 overtime. Connor Hellebuck stood on his head. Canada, you had a Celebrini breakaway. You had a Connor McDavid breakaway. You had a paddle save that will be as famous as Flowers' save against Detroit. You said it was the best hockey game you've ever watched. Is that what you said?
Yes, just yes. The skill level, if you've played this game at all, and I think what's so unique about hockey is there really is a connection. Hockey players are just good guys and good gals, and it just connects you. But to take a step back and just realize how good these professional athletes are now, and the youth, Celebrini is unbelievable.
Love him.
Unbelievable. But the youth on our side, I just thought we're going to win this game. But man, all of a sudden the ship is just sinking on one end. They threw 40 shots at us. And Celebrini in the last 2 minutes had 2 one-timers that they just go in, and they didn't. And McKinnon, unstoppable.
McKinnon missed an empty net, Zolman.
Well, yeah, when you look at that roster, that Canadian roster, and kudos to Billy G, because he obviously put the right group together, right? But on paper, it's holy buckets. How are we going to beat these? This is like Gretzky, Lemieux, and Coffey, and
Oh, it was
Messier
crazy.
back in the Canada
And
Cup days. You
and
know?
no offense, because it's all matchups. The other cool thing about the Olympics was, if you watch some of these games, they're all this fast. They're all this good. Sweden had a ton of injuries. They were still unbelievably good. And no one necessarily cares in the opening rounds. Those quarterfinal games, we almost had huge upsets. These are unbelievably
Oh, it
highly
wasn't
skilled.
an easy path to get to the gold medal game.
No. So one thing I thought, though, is to the youth side, I think the front end of Canada was better than ours. Just a touch better. This is no cut on, but our back end was stronger.
Amazing.
So it was one of those things like, and look we win 2-1. And by the way, when you win 2-1, you actually do need guys to hit posts, miss. I mean, Devon Taves, too, in the crease. I mean, what the heck? How do you miss some of these? So that has to happen. But you got to build your team to towards a strength and then play to that strength. And we did. I mean, look at Miller and Trocheck and Kinger. No power play goals against in the whole tournament for the U.S.
You're kidding.
Didn't give up a power play goal,
We
right?
took a 5-on-3 today.
I saw.
and
I
we
did
had to
see.
kill them.
I saw snippets of the game. I saw the 5-on-3, and when I was like, "Oh, we're in trouble."
And
That's
we're-
incredible. Best
and-
athletes in the world.
And we're bearing the lead. Matt Goldie, as we're going to call him, not Matt Boldy. He basically did an Abby Murphy. So he's 1-on-2. Cale McCarr, by the way, might have heard of him. Devin Taze is the other D. He has no option. He's going 1-on-2. He shoots the puck into the air. He dribbles it twice. He takes the other guy's stick and goes 5-hole on Binnington. I mean, this is Sports Center top 10.
Well,
Matt Goldie.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
My wife is not a hockey person, not a sports person. So, but she watched the game this morning, and she sent me. She said that was an amazing goal. And
So we were hot for 10 minutes, right out of the chutes. We were dominant. And then we survived the rest of the game. Honest to God, Connor Hellebuck looked like Jim Craig. Like he stacked the pads at one point. He was kicking. It was like Miracle
was
in a
one
weird
save.
way, where I was like, this is so weird. We had McAvoy made a save in the crease because he was just there. It was so great. And then one of my favorite, there was a couple moments at the end. You do need to rewatch this. I'm sure it'll play over and over again on NBC. But so they interview Hughes after the game, and it was very reminiscent of Neil Broughton in the state tournament. So Jack's not 18 years old, but he's got kind of the baby face, and he said over and over again, his neck vein was popping out. He just kept saying, I'm so proud to be an American. I love our country. This is a brotherhood of players that play on USA Hockey. He just said it over and over again. It didn't matter what question she asked him. That was his answer. And then after they won, they had Goudreau's jersey, Johnny, who passed away tragically, and they did the team photo. And they got his two kids over the glass
I heard
to
that.
be in the...
That's when the waterfalls started happening.
And there was more than one man in the state of Minnesota that said, my allergies are bothering me right now, and took a knee. I mean, I am so happy. Like, I've wanted this for so long, and I felt the exact same way as you, Brian. Canada was a Ferrari, okay? We were an F-150. We had the best goaltender. I think we had the best D-core. But I thought you had to win. You had to score 3 to win. And I didn't know if we could do that, because even the Eichels, the Matthews, they were just kind of stuck in the mud, right? We couldn't really get anything to happen from a forward standpoint. So we were essentially an opportunistic hockey team, get a couple, and then you just can't score on us. And, I mean, today was crazy. Like the paddle save, the breakaways. I mean, Connor Hellebuck, he must have won player of the tournament. I'm sure they have some award for that. He probably has another stuffed animal. How about handing the stuffed animals to the guys? So Canada loses, right? And I want to get your take on this, both of you. So my theory on Canada is they're the new Red Army, okay? So when they win, they only experience relief. They do not experience joy. And
Good way to put it.
watching them on the line when they lost, I mean, it was a funeral. And they got to get the silver medals around their neck. They got to get handed the stuffed animal. And
What do you think they do with the silver medal? Do you think they actually...
well, I will give them credit that they
Keep
took it and they put it on and
when
they
they get home.
understood. Because, 20 years from now, it's a big deal to win the silver. And that field, like you said, Sweden, Czech, all that. But the Americans with their arms around each other for the anthem, I think Billy did a really good thing with Four Nations and basically bringing the same roster back besides Tage and Keller. They're in the village. They don't go to the Four Seasons, right? These guys have eaten 25 meals together at this point. At some point, you're just family. And I think that was the difference. I really do. I think Canada had an all-star team, and we had a team. And
They have different pressure up there. I think they just do, right?
I mean, Nathan McKinnon, we were watching it, and somebody said, I hope his wife is going to Costa Rica for 2 weeks, because you don't even want to be his dog when he gets home. Like, I mean, he was so, and even Connor McDavid, he looks like he's a Japanese pianist that started playing at 3 years old and has to play. There's just no joy. And you look at Brock and Boldy and the Kachucks and the Hughes and I don't know. It's a good time to be an American hockey player.
I think it's coming, and I would say, that back end of ours, there's some youth. Even watching like a Jack Hughes, Clayton Keller, watching them play. These little guys, they love the game. It's interesting because I think some of that's coming from our national development program. Like it, love it. We'll keep talking about that a little bit, like what you do with that. But if you look, Boldy was there. As well.
All those guys are tight.
But they're finally bringing a winning attitude, a winning, like, I love America, too. So 1980, we win. But we were winning with non-pros. And since then, the whole Olympic thing's been up, down, up, down. Again, I had very little experience in the World Championships. The only reason I think I went there is because a lot of NHL guys, the rumor was they would say no. They wouldn't make the playoffs, or they'd get knocked out in the first round, and the World Championships always happens right about there. The rest of the world loves it. But U.S., it was really hard to get players to go. It's like, hey, my season's over. Why am I going over there?
And they won it this year for the first time ever.
Exactly. And so what is that? So it was hard to get to this level, whereas in Canada, when you lose in the NHL playoffs, you are on the next plane to the World Championships. You play for your country. We're bringing this youth that I think is coming up that says, you do anything you possibly can for your country. And it's led by those two Chuck brothers. They're nuts, but they're all America.
Yeah, they are.
And they are just like, so if think of the opposite. I mean, they actually might sleep with a silver medal. I don't know what they're going to do with the gold. Literally with the gold medal, they might like wear it when they play their next game. The Florida Panthers, they'll be out there and be like, hey, nice necklace.
Zolman, there's a check at the start of the game. The two Kachuk brothers put Parayko into the boards. And all I could think of was, I'm going to be at like Saks or Jimmy's, and they're going to have an 8x10 of that. And both the Kachuk brothers with their mouth guards hanging out of their mouth, burying this guy into the boards. And I'm buying that thing for $200 because it was amazing. Just, I know you didn't see it, so you're at a deficit. We'll bring you back. But the other thing that's happening that I love, so the original schedule for the U.S. team was that they were going to fly back from Milan tonight, which is just a joke, right? Like, you're going to win the gold medal and get on a plane. A huge snowstorm on the East Coast. They were going to fly to New York. They're flying tomorrow. So Milan burns tonight. Police cars.
Oh boy!
Kachuk
brothers aren't done yet.
I'm going home. I'm gonna get some food on the way home, and I'm just gonna go on Instagram and just wait for videos to drop from whatever's happening in Milan. And they're landing in Miami tomorrow, not New York, because they can't fly to the East Coast with the nor'easter. So I think they're at the elbow room. I think they're going right down to Fort Lauderdale, Miami. If it's not all of them, it's for sure Matthew and Brady and Keith are going to be on the balcony, maybe dipping their gold medal in the crowd. So,
it is 11 p.m. right now, so it's potentially full-fledged.
Yeah,
the next 3-4 hours.
Oh, right now, yeah,
it's going to be dropping.
Yeah.
Photo after photo.
I want all of it. I'm here for all of it. I wanted to hear you guys both talk about something Brian said to me earlier, because I was thinking the same thing. So big wild guy, obviously do the wild pod and stuff, and Quinn Hughes coming has been amazing. So if you're a hockey parent, you should be taking your kid to watch this guy play. She's a shapeshifter. We've never seen anything like it. I was concerned about playoff hockey with Quinn because he's a smaller guy. And we played a couple games. I don't know if you remember. We played L.A. twice in a row. They beat us both games, and they were extremely physical. And I remember thinking, man, what's this going to be like? And so today was a big boy game. Tom Wilson was trying to knock Dylan Larkin's head off, and it was violent. And Quinn was still great in this game, but your theory is that the Wild at the deadline, which is really only a week away, you think they still need some protection? They need the Ryan O'Reillys. What would you like to see the Wild do, and what are you guys willing to give up?
Yeah, I'm willing to give up basically everything. Basically everything. We got a core. We got a young core. We got a Kaprizov, a Boley. I mean, the Hughes piece. I mean, number 2 defenseman or number 1? You can argue both ways. It's he and McCarr, and it's light years ahead of everybody else. I mean, they're just that. He's that good. But we got to protect him, and you're right about that Kings game. I've been to a couple games where I watched. He didn't like getting bumped.
He doesn't like getting hit.
Well, no one does, So, yes, Tom Wilson. Watching him in the Olympics, too. I mean, he can play, and he is tough. And he will finish and he'll bring guys along with him. We can't get the Tkachuk brothers, so we got to move past those 2 guys. But, yeah, Ryan O'Reilly, potentially a Kadri, potentially back end a Trouba, a defenseman here or there, Anders Lee. But I like this Tom Wilson, and I know you can't just go grab guys, but we need one more guy who plays a little bit like number 14, a little bit of that edge, because the challenge in playoff hockey is when you have 7 games, the good coaches, a bunch of those coaches at the Olympics, they know. Who cares about the first 4 games? Who cares? Who do we need to beat the crap out of? And on Minnesota right now, it's pretty obvious. That's the challenge. Is those 2 guys are so good, Kaprizov and Hughes. I mean, it is just like we'll be embarrassed if they beat us because everybody knows they're the best 2 players. So we got to we got to find a way to cause some problems. Like, oh, you're going to do that? Well, then we're going to do this.
You're saying some dark alley guys.
Yep.
What would you do?
I've always said we need to get tougher for the playoffs. That's been the Wild, kind of our Achilles, since for the last however many years, is we just get pushed around. And the talent we got now is undeniable. I mean, Hughes is out there playing pond hockey while everyone else is playing in the NHL. And he's just like, oh, okay, I guess I'd show up and I'm just gonna play pond while everyone else is fighting for a contract, and I'm, just having fun out here. Kaprizov's kind of there too. I mean, they're just at that level, but they're gonna need protection. I remember a few years ago when Bufflin for Winnipeg single-handedly just destroyed Granlund, and Granlund was kind of our best player then. And just took him out of the series. And once he was out of the series, we were out of the series. I remember Eric Stahl got a stick in the face, was freaking bleeding all over the ice, and we didn't do anything about it. We didn't have a guy. We didn't have a guy to go after their guy. We need a guy, or we need a couple guys. I think we got a couple guys on the roster now that, but you got to have some depth there, just like you have.
Guys that can
just
play.
Like you need depth.
And
in
Brian,
other
the big
spots.
difference. Sam Bennett can play. Ryan O'Reilly can play. So you have Tkachuk.
I don't know if Brady Tkachuk is off the table either, because that scandal in Ottawa was awful with the rumors about the wives and the way the team handled it. I think he's got his bags packed in Ottawa. I'm not saying it has to be in the next 2 weeks, but he's going to be sitting somewhere in Milan tonight with Billy G, having an espresso martini, 3 beans, health, happiness, and wealth. And I don't know, man. I'm saying there might be a scenario with a young goaltender and a prospect and a pick, and you could be surprised. Even if he's a rental, you get Brady Tkachuk for 6 months.
Go after it, because I would say, too, in this, some of these teams, like Ottawa, they're doing better. But are they really going to get to the Stanley Cup
Are
with
they
that
in
team?
their window? And if they're not, we're in our window.
That's what I mean. And so some teams are willing to do that. I mean, look at Vancouver. Vancouver is willing to give up Hughes. Think of that once.
Crazy.
But you have to think well, can we use him in the next 5 years to get there? And I think they said, we can't. We got to go for the next Quinn Hughes.
And that only happened because the assistant GM was like, I'm hearing this stuff about Quinn, Billy. You should reach out to the GM of Vancouver. Maybe he's available, right? It seemed crazy on paper, but it happened. Same thing with Brady. I do think Billy's got one more big move. I don't know if it's just going to be Vinny Trocheck and we get better at face-offs. It might be like a big-time move where you're like, damn, we're the Avengers. We're a Marvel movie.
Well, I think teams are they don't want to play the Wild now because we're good.
We're top 5 in the league, for sure.
But like you said,
LA's not worried about us.
Playoff hockey's just different.
LA
It's
lost
just different.
Fiala. So.
Yeah, but I'm just saying teams like that, Vegas, they just don't care because they're, the concept there. And what's the coach's name down there again? It's on the tip of my tongue, but he's one of those guys that's thinking that way. Like, oh, we got 7 games. By the way, it brings me back to Suter. You got to love him or hate him, Ryan Suter. Great guy, but on the ice with Dallas, gosh, did he make us mad.
Oh, he killed
Slashing
Kaprizov.
guys. Just cheap as could be. That guy, my 2 brother-in-laws, blowing my phone up. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's playoff hockey.
Yeah.
But we had nobody to retaliate.
We didn't.
You got to be willing to kick your grandmother down the stairs in the playoffs. I don't know if I can say that, but
It's kind of true.
Hey, quick preview. You guys are going to do another pod quickly on the heels of this. Can you give the listeners a little taster about what you're going to be talking about on the boys' side, maybe some upsets you're seeing? Because we'll probably let our live podcaster go here at some point. It's been a long day at the Gateway Games.
Yeah, I think the girls' season's wrapped up now. We need to talk boys hockey, and this week was a lot of upsets. I think 4 of the top 11 teams in our rankings that finished the year in the top 11 are out.
So
obviously
it's Rogers.
Rogers was ranked 1, they're out.
Maple Grove.
Maple Grove was ranked 10, they're out. Holy Angels was ranked 11, they're out. And Cretan got beat by St. Thomas, so they're out. They were ranked 9th.
St. Thomas plays Rosemount for the.
St. Thomas plays Rosemount, and there's a story there where St. Thomas got the number 2 seed, where they should have got the 1 seed, and I guess they flipped a coin or spun a wheel on a computer or whatever. So there's some drama there, but I talked to Strobel, and Strobel was just like, you know what? He said, it doesn't matter if we're 1, 2, 7, or 8. We got to win 3 games, and that's what we're going to focus on. So in St. Thomas, I mean, they're good. They got maybe the 2 best freshmen in the state, their goalie, and then Maverick McKinnon. And then they're loaded. They're good. They're well coached.
Their White Bear Lake goalie.
Yeah.
He's a White Bear Lake goalie.
Oh,
White Bear Lake.
sorry.
Also, but by the way, could you imagine being named Maverick McKinnon? If you're not good at hockey, you have to fly an F-16.
Right.
I mean,
watch him skate. He skates like
I've seen him.
Like he's got jets in his skates.
It'll be very interesting. Do you think, I don't want to spoil your podcast tomorrow, but it still feels like Moorhead still finds a way to win this, like 5-4. It's a 5-4 game.
They're deep too.
They got the young Cullen now. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think they're going back to back.
The
What do you
is,
guys think?
If you take you got to stay out of the box against them, because if you get them a man advantage,
Best power play ever.
yeah,
I love watching
it's over. So, obviously they're the defending champs. They brought a ton back. They lost Kraft, but yeah, they got their guys back.
It's still a bit of the. It's analogous to the NHL in the sense of like there's 7 games now. How are we going to play in the playoffs? The upsets are happening again this year because you got O'Leary at Wayzata, who's done this for so darn long. He's just not nervous.
He's a gangster.
Yep. So they're the 4
Former
seed.
golfer.
They're the 4 seed with an upset. Now they're playing the 2 seed in Edina. Edina's not worried either.
That's going to be a good section final.
Andover, big upset, but I have a feeling again they've been around. So all of a sudden
coached.
these games change, and like you say, you want to run and gun with Moorhead, you're probably not going to win. But it takes an Andover who just says, well, like the USA today, we're going to this is our game. And if we do this well and get a couple pipes, we can win. And that's what happens, and what makes hockey fun. And that's why
even
you were
last
crying
year,
the whole
right?
time. Yeah.
I really think Moorhead would have told you their hardest game was the Edina game. Even the Stillwater game was crazy in the championship, but I think they're fine with, like, if there's going to be over 10 games, we'll take 10 goals, we'll take our odds. When Mason West was, they're playing defense, he's scoring. You got to play defense to win a championship. That's what really I think we learned with the U.S. team today is that was a team built from the back out, and you can slow down a Ferrari with an F-150, with enough airbags, and we did it. So it was awesome. Do you guys have any other final thoughts? Or
I just one thing about the Olympics that I want to make a point of. Now imagine we go back, so we haven't won a gold medal since 1980. You take our World Junior team and put it against Canada's team that we saw today, and imagine that team beating Canada. That's what happened in 1980. That's why it was a miracle, and that's why it will never happen again. Crazy what they did back then. I mean, imagine our 20-year-olds beating that Canadian team today. That's what happened back in 46 years ago.
Easy to overlook that, isn't it? It's so easy to overlook it and be like, oh, that was two pretty good teams. No, they got beat Madison Square Garden, 10-1?
Yeah.
Like the week before or something.
Yeah.
I mean, 10, just
And it was
unbelievable.
They did a great segment at the start of the game. They had Kurt Russell narrate this thing, and they were basically like, this isn't a miracle. This is King Kong against Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, watching the game, it felt a little bit like a miracle. I felt like we stole it a little bit. I mean, there were a lot of that could have been 5-1 Canada. And God bless you, Connor Hellebuck, and your mother and your father and your grandfather and your grandmother, because it was special. So
behind the scenes, we got to have some stories, so someone's got to find some of these. But like, I'd love to ask Jack Eichel, what was it like playing in the Olympics with the two Chichik brothers on your sides? Like, how was that? Like at the face-off dot, when you looked over, you're like, who are these two? Did you just say go?
Yeah.
Did you like some of that fun
I mean,
stuff?
they're nuts. Like, so I didn't know if Crosby was going to play, right? And all I could think of is if he plays and they know he's injured, this is the guy. They're going to pick this guy like the same way they picked the guy in Slovakia. They're going to try to go after Crosby because it's going to make everyone on Canada so upset. You know, and it's like going after your mother, right? Like Sidney Crosby is like I love Sidney Crosby. Like he's the one Canadian hockey player I fully accept. And I'm like, these guys will do it. Like they will just be like, oh, where's he hurt? Brady, where's he hurt? And then everyone's going, right? And I love them. I mean, I will say when Matthew got that gold medal today, and Matthew's probably the bigger rat of the two, I thought he was going to cry. I mean, he really took a moment when you watch the replay. He really was processing it, and it's a big deal. So good for them. You know, it's been 46 years. I'm proud to be from America, too, today. So.
Yeah, I think the emotion of it and the guys coming together and playing for their country. Now they got to go back to putting their other sweaters on. Now you got to go beat each other up.
Now you got to go to Winnipeg if you're Connor Hellebuck, or Toronto if you're Austin Matthews. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
But, hey, we got your back, brother. Freebird, play it.
Right.
Well, thank you guys for listening. This has been Let's Play Hockey. And there's going to be lots of content coming out because this is hockey season. I think it's always hockey season in Minnesota.
It never stops.
Right? All right. Love you. Peace.
Thank you.
Yeah. They could never ever check me. Make a play like I was Gretzky. Shades on and I'm messed up. If you play with me, it get messy. Got it popping off a no-2. Now people acting like I owe you. Breaking necks as I roll through. They treating you like you roll news. Yeah, they know my name when I walk in the building. Yeah, making a name, there ain't no better feeling. Yeah, keep it pushing, I ain't rolling over. Neck ice like Minnesota. Flip the script like Motorola. They hated on me for a long time before I had some motion.